Hello, everyone. Welcome back for another yoga practice. Today's theme is centered around the oracle pull that we just did, which is all about serenity, all about making time to slow down, to breathe, and just the value of that and making the time for that, right? If we value it, we got to make time for it in our life. So, to start today's practice with this in mind, I thought a wonderful way would be to start in Shavasana. So, we're going to come onto our back, and Seabergie's already getting into her Shavasana. That's great. Come on down in your back. We'll join her. So, in your Shavasana, make sure you're taking up a little space. Let your feet come apart. Let your feet roll apart. Arms are at your sides, palms facing up. Head is in line with your spine. And then take a deep breath in and out. Another deep breath in your nose, out your mouth. Deep breath in your nose, out your mouth. And then let yourself just completely come to stillness and falling back into your natural breath. Now beginning to notice where you are in space in the room. So feeling your legs resting on the mat and feeling the weight of your arms and your hands on the mat. And feeling the back of your torso and head being supported by the ground beneath you. Noticing any sensations on your skin, any warmth or coolness. Noticing any other physical sensations in your body. So without judgment, you're just observing. Maybe noticing the beating of your heart. Just noticing. Taking another deep breath. In and out. Now bringing your attention to any sounds in the room around you. So just allowing them to be there. You're just mindfully observing any sounds. Maybe just the sound, maybe of your own breath. And now bringing your attention to any thoughts. So just noticing you might not have any major thoughts right now. That's fine. Just notice that. But if you do, just notice, oh, thinking. You could say maybe thinking about the past, observing now, maybe thinking about the future. So you're just observing and not getting caught up in the storyline of your thoughts, but just observing what's there. And then bringing your attention to how you're feeling emotionally. So, again, it might be very subtle. Maybe it's, I don't really feel anything major right now, and that's fine. Maybe you feel calm, maybe a little stressed, maybe a little anxious. So, again, you're just noticing. And where are you feeling it? What are you feeling? How does that feel? Get a little curious about where you're feeling and what you're feeling emotionally in your space. Not making it a problem, to be solved. We're just observing, noticing, giving it space, allowing it to be. And once you've done that, we'll bring our attention back to our breath. And we're going to do a little bit of a breathing exercise here. So we're going to bring one hand to the chest and one hand to the belly. And so on your next inhale, we've done this one before with the yogic breath. We're going to send our breath and we're going to expand on the inhale, expanding our lower belly. So on the inhale, or just our belly, on the inhale, it's like you're blowing up a balloon in your belly. Exhale, release, soften. Let the balloon deflate. We're going to do a few more just like that. So inhale, feeling the bottom hand rise up. Exhale, release. 2 more. Last one. Your next inhale, we're going to inhale into the belly and the lower ribs. And then release. Inhale, feel the belly expand and the lower ribs. Release. 2 more. Exhale, release. And now inhale, belly, lower ribs, and into the collarbones, all the way up. Exhale, release. Inhale, belly, lower ribs, upper chest. Feel right to the top. Exhale, release. 2 more just like that. Last one. And then just fall into your natural breath, natural rhythm. Notice how your breath feels now. Now we're going to take a minute to set our intention for the practice today. So we're going to intend to access calm and serenity throughout our practice today. I intend to access calm and serenity in my practice today, through my practice today. Let that just land. And when you have completed that intention, feel free to slowly open your eyes, bring yourself back into the space. And we're going to slowly bend both knees. And then let the knees just fall together. Just bring yourself back into the space, nice and gentle. All right. We're going to move into a gentle supine twist. So we're going to bring the knees both pointing upward. And down a deep inhale, we're going to send the knees both towards the right. And so you can leave the hands on the chest and belly, or if you like, you can bring them in the cactus arms, the goalpost arms out to your either side, up to you. And you can bring your gaze towards the left. That feels okay on the neck. Finding your breath. Making time for our breath. One more. Nice. And then on your next inhale, Let's guide our head to center and knees up through center. Exhale, let the knees fall to the left. Gaze can go towards the right. Falling into your natural deep breath. Just waking up the hips, shoulders, spine, and your neck. And then your next inhale, let's bring up through center. And then we'll just flow a couple times each side dynamically. So inhale and then exhale, fall to the right. Inhale, up through center, exhale to the left. One more time each side. So inhale through center, exhale to the right with the knees. Inhale up, exhale, knees to the left. And then inhale up through center. Let's hug the knees into chest. You can take your arms wrapping around the knees, hugging the knees all the way into chest, maybe a little rock from side to side along the lower back. So I think I mentioned in the previous Oracle Pull video that we had been camping and I had lots of intentions to do lots of stretching. And I did a little bit in the mornings, but I can tell it's been a few days. My hips and lower back are tight. So I'm glad we're starting with this nice slow practice. This is perfect. All right. Now I'm going to come to center. Let's hug the right knee into our chest and we'll lengthen the left leg long down the mat. So flex the left toes towards you and flex the right toes towards you as well. We're keeping that left leg long. Hips are centered. Finding your breath. All right, deep breath in. Let's bring that left knee in at the same time. Exhale, hands on the left knee in the chest. Exhale, that right leg long. Nice. And we're going to hold that left knee in the chest. Both toes flex towards you. Making time for the breath. One more deep breath. And exhale. Let's release that left foot down to the mat. Keep the knee bent. And we're going to bring that right knee into chest. One more time. Let's bring the right foot on top of the left thigh for a figure four. So you can totally stay here. If you're already feeling a nice amount of stretch in the hip, you can just flex the right toes towards the shin and you'll be fine. If you need a little more stretch, you can guide that left knee towards your chest. And I'm just bringing my hands behind the left thigh just for a little more support. I'm flexing both toes and I'm finding my breath. Nice. And on exhale, let's guide that left foot all the way back down. And we're going to bring the right foot down to the floor now. We're going to inhale that left knee in the chest. And then we're going to guide that left foot on top of the right thigh. And again, you might already feel a nice stretch here, keeping the left foot flexed. If you like a little more, guiding the right knee towards your chest for full figure four. And then again, the option to bring the hands behind the thigh. Some people might have that flexibility to bring it on top of the shin. For me, behind the thigh is perfect. If you want a little more, you can just guide that left knee further away from the torso. So it just emphasizes that external left hip stretch. And then finding your breath. Nice. 2 more deep breaths. Staying with your breath, staying present with your breath. If you're like me, your mind tends to just wander off at the first opportunity, which is totally fine. But when I notice, just bring it back to the breath. All right, and then exhale, let's guide that right foot down to the mat, release the left foot down. And we're gonna bring both knees into chest, a little rock again from side to side. I'm gonna take both hands on both knees now, and I'm gonna do knee circles. So we're just gonna go clockwise first. Nice and gentle, just gets into the hip a little more and through the lower back and sacrum. There we go. Remember, stay with your breath. Let's do one more in this direction. Then we come back to center, we'll just shift direction counterclockwise. So take your time, no rush. All right, and then next time you come back through center. Option, you can either take the hands behind the knees and we can do a rock and roll, which I personally really do enjoy, but a lot of people do not. So if this does not feel good on the lower back, what you're gonna do is just roll yourself to one side and then we're gonna meet in a seated cross-leg position. So totally up to you which way you wanna get there. All right. So we're in the seated cross leg. We're just going to cross the legs and then we're going to bring the hands in front. I'm going to step back into our tabletop. So when in tabletop, again, just taking a moment, making sure the hands are directly below the shoulders, knees below the hips. Toes can either be tucked or untucked right now. All right, get nice and centered. And we're going to move through just a few rounds of cat and cow. So inhale, belly down, chin and pelvis tilt up. Exhale, curve up the spine, tuck the chin and pelvis. So inhale, belly down. Exhale, curve that spine up into cat. Flow with your breath. So you might be moving at a slightly different pace than me, and that's okay. Let's go one more full round. And then after the last exhale, inhale back into that tabletop position. Tucking the toes, if they aren't already tucked, we're going to walk your hands back towards the knees. So options are you can keep the hands down on the mat. We're just getting a little foot arch stretch here. You can totally stay right here if this is lots for you. If you want something a little more intense, you can guide the hands on top of the thighs. Okay, and then finding your breath. We won't be here very long. I find this is one of the areas of the body that does get neglected is the arch of the feet. And mine hold a lot of tension. Very important part of the body with respect to centering and grounding the feet. All right, exhale. Let's guide the hands back down if they aren't already. Guiding ourselves back into that tabletop. Untuck the toes, give them a little TLC. You can kind of move your toes around. There you go. Feel the space you created there. Okay. And we're going to move into a bit of a balance pose here. So you want to make sure you're nice and centered in your tabletop to start. So moving into bird dog. So to start with this one, make sure that the right hand is really grounded. You feel really centered. And that might mean moving it a little more towards center. So feel that out for yourself because you're going to put a lot of weight on that hand. And then when you're ready, you can guide the left arm so that it's parallel to the ground, just bringing the arm back into the socket. So here's kind of step one. And then moving into step two, you can bring that right leg long, starting maybe with the toes touching the ground. Good starting point. And then if you want to move into that full expression, you're bringing up the back leg so that it's parallel as well. So just avoid sinking down. I caught myself almost wanting to do that. You want to make sure that you're feeling supported with that right arm. And you've ideally got that one long line from fingertips all the way back to the ankle. So finding your breath here. I know myself, when I get into these tough balance poses, the first thing I want to do is hold the breath. We want to make sure that we create as much ease as we can with that breath. Couple more breaths, almost there. And then exhale, and slowly release the hand and knee back down. Nice. Okay. So take a moment, give that right wrist a little TLC. That's the only thing with this one, it's a bit tough on the wrist. So you just give it a little roll out. Okay. And then we're going to transition to the other side. So checking that left hand, making sure it's nice and centered and grounded, shifting it where it needs to be. So mine's pretty much right underneath my shoulder. I find that gives me the most support. And then when you're ready, you're guiding that right arm up parallel to the mat to start. Okay. Making sure that the arm is down back into the shoulder joint. And then when you're ready, working on lengthening that left leg, toes down first to start. Good starting point right here. And then when you're ready, you can work on bringing that left leg up parallel to the ground. So one long line from the fingertips right back to the ankle. Head is in line with the spine. Finding your breath. Interesting how one side can be, for me, this side is a lot more challenging. Makes sense because I know my left arm is a lot weaker. So it's a little shakier, and that's okay. Couple more breaths. And on your exhale, you can slowly guide the hand and the knee all the way back down. Nice. And take a moment. Let's roll out that left wrist. All right. And then when you're ready, we're going to tuck the toes. Inhale, hips up into downward facing dog. So take a moment here, maybe paddle out your feet. So I'm bringing my right ankle towards the mat as I bend the left knee. And then I'm going to switch that to the other side. Staying with my deep breath. Bringing the hips up, backs of the thighs back to the back of the mat. Let your head just hang. Finding your breath. Deep breath. One more. Inhale, stepping yourself right to the front of the mat. We're going to come into a standing forward fold. Feet are about hip distance apart. Let your spine just hang. Deep breath. Inhale, let's halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, we're going to sweep all the way up. Reach, 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 upward salute. And then exhale, hands down through the heart center. Deep breath in and out. Deep breath. Inhale, let's sweep the arms all the way overhead. Exhale, hands together, palms together, hands down through the heart center, down through the midline, hinging at the hips, down into forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Stepping both feet all the way back into plank. Option always to bring the knees down into low plank. Find your breath. When you're ready, exhale. We're going to lower down knees, chest and chin all the way down. Untuck the toes. Pushing the tops of the feet into the mat. Legs are strong, core strong. Inhale up into your cobra. Exhale all the way down. Inhale, pushing up through tabletop. Bringing the knees nice and wide, big toes together. Exhale, hips back onto heels, down to child. So forehead can go down on the mat, or you can turn your head to one side to rest on a cheek. Arms can be out in front, elbows resting down, or I think today I'm feeling like arms down at my sides. and just finding my breath. Deep breath in and out. Nice. And just taking a moment to come back to your original intention. Intending to make space for your calm and serenity, and remembering the importance of that. And when you're ready, you can slowly bring yourself up into a seated position. So we're bringing our seat bones right on the mat. And we're going to start with the legs nice and wide. So you don't have to overdo it here in a seated wide leg pose. About 85% the width you can do is great. Okay. And taking your arms out to the side, you want to flex, first of all, the toes towards you. Make sure your knees are pointing up and you're seating nice and level. And then arms out the side. Let's inhale, arms all the way up. Get nice and tall. And exhale, coming into our forward fold. And you're using your hands as support. So this is going to be a little different for everyone. Some people are going to be right here. Remember, no pain, no strain, right? So if you're feeling a nice stretch, that's great. You want to come up to your edge, but no pain and no strain. And we're going to use our breath to help us access the most out of this pose. So deep breath in and out. Nice. And you might notice that you're starting to be able to come maybe a little bit deeper. So we're not pushing, we're allowing. Creating that calm. And it's amazing in that state what we're able to access, what we're able to do. One more deep breath. On your next inhale, slowly guide yourself all the way back up. And we're going to bring a bend now to the right knee. Just bring the sole of the right foot towards the inner left thigh. And then we're going to guide our torso over the long left leg. So we're just kind of rotating towards it. Inhale, arms come all the way up. And then exhale, coming into a fold over that left leg. Toes are flexed towards you. Leg is engaged. So again, you might not be reaching at the foot, right? You might be here on the thigh, and that's fine. Or maybe on the shin. You're coming to your personal edge. And you're respecting that. Remember, it doesn't have to look like anybody else. Yoga is definitely a non-competitive. I always joke in class with my students, like, it's a non-competitive sport because a lot of them are athletes and they are very competitive by nature. I'm like, that is not what yoga is. This is your personal practice. You do what is for you. It is for you. What is in your best interest? One more deep breath. And then inhale. Use the hands to kind of guide you all the way back up here. And now we're going to rotate our torso over the bent knee, over the right knee. Bring your left hand so that the palm is facing up and it's on the left thigh or knee, wherever it falls. And then you're going to take your right arm, palm is up, out towards the right. Inhale that right arm up and your gaze follows the right hand. And then exhale, you're coming into a bend, letting that left hand slide down long, down the left leg, a revolved head to knee pose. So different for everyone. For me, my head is definitely not at my knee, and that's okay. This is where my edge is. I'm finding my breath, ease with my breath. Noticing where I'm feeling this in my body. So for me, I feel it definitely down into this right hip, which I know is really tight. So that's where I need to feel that. I'm enjoying that. And finding my breath. Respecting that edge. All right, inhale, let's flow all the way up. We're going to plant the right hand down right beside that right hip. Left hand palm up, and you can bring your gaze to the left hand. We're going to inhale the left hand all the way up, and we're going to push support into that right hand. We're going to push the hips all the way up and over. Finding your breath. Gaze can be towards that left hand. Now for me, I'm up here and I'm feeling like I want to just move a little bit into that left shoulder, and so I'm going to. So feel free to do what you need to do. Maybe another breath. And then exhale, we're going to bring slowly the hips all the way back down, coming back into our seated position. Oh, that felt amazing. Okay, let's do the other side. So you're going to bring that right leg long. And then we're going to bring a bend to the left knee. It's going to rotate to the other side so you can see. So the left foot is touching that inner right thigh. Nice. Okay, so we're going to get nice and tall. Make sure both sit bones are level. Nice and tall. And then we're going to rotate the torso over the extended right leg. Okay. Inhale, arms up nice and tall. Exhale, coming into a fold. Toes are flexed towards you. Deep breath. One more deep breath. And then when you're ready, using your hands, you can guide yourself all the way back up. Take your time. And now we're going to rotate our torso so that it's over the bent left knee. Okay. So taking now the right hand, palm is up. Just let it rest on that right thigh or knee. Then the left hand comes out, palm is up. Inhale, reach up nice and tall. And then exhale, we come into a bend over the right leg as we slide that right arm down the right leg. Revolved head to knee. Finding your breath. You want to try and make sure that chest is nice and open. We don't want to be caving in. So nice and open. Feeling the stretch in your body. Where are you feeling the stretch? Staying present in your body with your breath. One more breath. And then inhale, let's come all the way back up. We're going to rest that left hand down towards the left hip. Right hand, palm is still up. As we push and support by the left hand, we push on an inhale, that right arm up and hips come up and over. Our right arm is over. Deep breath. So gaze can be towards the right hand. Again, if you feel like you just need to move a little bit into any areas that need it, feel free. One more breath. And then exhale, let's guide that right hand down and the hips all the way back down. Nice. Okay. Oh, I needed that. Okay, so bringing yourself now into a seated pose with the bent knees. And we're going to move into boat pose. So what I love about boat is, first of all, it accesses the abdominal muscles, which are kind of the center, the core of all of our movements. So I can always work on that. And there's lots of variation. So there's something for everyone with boat pose. So you can start with the feet on the mat for support. Now we want to work at lengthening the legs, or lengthening the spine. Okay, the only thing to watch out for really with boat is that you don't end up doing this, curving into it, right? So nice long spine, there we go. And then we're going to reach the arms parallel, okay, to the mat, and then slowly guiding our torso back until we feel those core muscles engage. Shoulders are down from the ears. And there we go. Okay, so this is kind of option one. You would like a little more. You can bring the shins so that they're up parallel to the ground. This is kind of option two, but you don't want to be giving in to, okay, I can do it, but I have to curve in like this. Then you would bring the feet down, okay? Finding your breath. Option three, you can work on lengthening the legs, okay? And I say option 4 would be reaching. I don't know if option 4 is for me, but the arms overhead. So for me today, where I'm at, I'm kind of here at option 2. So finding your breath. I know that I'm pushing too hard in a pose if I can't access my proper breath, my deep abdominal yogic breath. My breath tells me, even if my mind's saying, oh no, I'm good, my breath does not lie. Let's go for 2 more breaths. One more. If you're a little shaky, that's okay. I'm a little shaky. Exhale. And then on the exhale, you can just lower, you can use your hands if you like to lower yourself down, or you can lower down through low bow pose. Let's see if we can try that one today, where I work on lengthening the legs as I bring the torso down. There we go. Eventually reaching down and resting on the ground beneath you. So just take a few deep breaths here in your nose, out your mouth, and let yourself just let all the muscles just go. Nice. Okay, and then when you're ready, you can bring a bend to both knees, bringing the soles of both feet to the mat. You want your feet about hip distance apart. Arms are long down at your sides, palms facing down. Ideally, the middle finger is just touching the heel. So that's kind of a nice setup for this. So on an inhale, we're going to push into the feet. We're going to bring the hips up into bridge. We're going to move dynamically with bridge for 3 breaths. So exhale, slowly releasing down. So you're noticing I'm keeping my head in line with my spine. Inhale, pushing the hips up. Knees stay hip distance apart. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. This time on the inhale, we're going to inhale up and we're going to pause for 3 full breaths. So options in bridge pose is you can just roll the shoulders onto your back and clasp the hands behind you if that feels good. You want to keep those knees hip distance apart. Other option is to bend at the elbows. So totally up to you. Let's try one more full breath. And then exhale, slowly releasing those hips back down. Oh, nice. Okay, bringing both knees into chest. Let's hug the knees in the chest, a gentle rock from side to side. All right, and now bringing the feet up above the torso. We're going to bring a knee to either side of the torso, coming into happy baby. So hands can be on the soles of the feet here. If that's not accessible, hands can be either on the shins or the backs of the thighs. And maybe a little gentle rock from side to side. Finding your breath. All right. And when you're ready, you can then release your legs nice and long down the mat, ending the way we started in our Shavasana. So just let your legs roll apart, arms out at your sides, palms facing up. And feel free to do anything else that you need to do to get comfortable here. So if you need to stretch something else out or make any other adjustments, take a moment, do that now. If you haven't already, feel free to close your eyes. Taking a deep breath in your nose, out your mouth. And just feeling every area of your body just resting in stillness. Feeling the weight of your body on the mat. allowing every muscle in your body to soften. Gradually now beginning to deepen your breath. Take your time. Maybe bringing a little movement back into your fingers and toes. In your own time, give yourself a stretch all the way overhead. So arms reaching all the way overhead, toes are pointing in the opposite direction. Deep breath in and out. And then slowly guiding yourself onto one side. Coming back to your natural breath again. And when you're ready, slowly guiding yourself all the way back up into your seated cross-legged position. Keeping the eyes closed if you can, just for the last few moments. And taking a deep breath in and out. And bringing to mind one last time our original intention of creating time for our calm and serenity in our life and on our mat and on end in our life. And just taking a moment now to remember the importance of that. And bringing our hands, palms together, thumbs pressed into the heart center. And taking a moment now of gratitude for this time and space for our practice together today. Thank you so much for joining me for your practice. Namaste. Thank you guys so much. I really needed that today. I really appreciate it. I just want to mention that I know I just got back from a camping trip with the family, but we're heading out for another little trip for a few days. So it'll be later in the week when I make another posting, probably. I might be able to squeeze in a little something tomorrow, we'll see, but likely later in the week. So stay tuned for that. And if you like this, please feel free to hit that like button and subscribe. I would absolutely appreciate that. That helps me to, motivates me to get more out there to you guys, of course. And any comments, any suggestions, any feedback would be really appreciated. Of course, positive feedback in the comment section. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you really enjoyed. Hope you got what you needed from that practice. Until next time.